What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. It's your boy flippinstoop. Thank you guys so much for being a part of this group. Thank you guys so much for all of you guys that subscribe to the YouTube channel. Each subscription is helping the channel grow. It's helping to reach more people, get more people involved in the industry. To some people, they feel like that's detrimental to your own business. But the truth behind that is, no, it's not. There's way too many active buyers on eBay for the small little 7 million of resellers to affect your sales. The only reason your sales can be getting defected is you're not doing your job, right? If you're not listing your items, and people will argue that. But you know what? I want to start this group, this video off, guys, by what the title of it is, the 6 benefits of having a niche when reselling on eBay. It's actually when reselling on anything, but eBay in particular, because that's what I've been learning for the past 2 years and a few months, right? So, as you know now, we have been selling for 2 years, 4 months, 2 years and a quarter, somewhere around there, okay? And these are some of the 6 things that I wish I would have, 6 benefits that I could have got if I would have started a niche 2 years and 3 months ago, right? And I didn't. I started a niche almost a year ago. Come January, it'd be a year ago. And if I would have did it the previous year and a few months, I'd be way further than I am now, guys. But that's all right. I've learned, okay? Now, for those of you that sell all over the place, that's your choice. I'm not knocking anybody doing that. This is a video just talking about what benefits you can achieve from having a certain niche on eBay. Whatever the niche is, it doesn't matter. But the first thing I'm going to jump into, you know what you're looking for when you're sourcing. I can remember back, guys, over 2 years ago, my first few times, me and my fiance going sourcing, I should say the first 6 months to a year, I didn't know where to go. I didn't know what direction to go into. I had to research every single item. And time is money in eBay. Time is money in life in general, period, right? So if it takes you 4 hours in a thrift store to research every single item you're looking up, and it's going to in the beginning, and that's okay, right? It's going to in the beginning. But you know, when you're a year or two in, it shouldn't be taking you 4 hours in one thrift store whatsoever to be thrifting, period. Unless you're an all over the place seller, and you got to look up everything. But the most crucial point of reselling is listing items on eBay. Okay, that is a daily thing you need to do. If you can minimize the amount of time you are sourcing and maximize the amount of time you are listing, you'll get a lot further than where you're at now, right? As well as me, right? I'm not just so knowing what you're reselling. I'm gonna give you a short story on there. It was funny today. I went to our first original Goodwill in a long time. It's been a long time since I've been there and did some serious shopping. And I walked in there today, and having the niche that I have now in clothes, and mainly women's clothes, but I do sell men's clothes too, but mainly women's clothes, I was blown away by the amount of money that is able to be made in just the woman's sweaters, guys. There wasn't a sweater on that shelf I couldn't have sold for 20 bucks. It blew my mind. It was unreal. And then I thought to myself, I said, it's always been here. These clothes have always been here. The difference is I picked a niche, and I'm learning the categories that I'm selling in good enough that I know which ones to grab and which ones have sold for me in the past and which ones will sell again. Very important factor of having a niche is that it makes you more efficient. You see the dollar signs. If you don't know what is selling and you got to look up every item two years down the road, right? You are wasting an abundance of time, in my opinion. Right? You're wasting a lot of time that you could be listing. Now, I was in and out of that thrift store in less than 30 minutes. Okay, I didn't grab any more than 20 items from that one today, though. If I would have grabbed 100 items, it could have took me an hour, and that's all it would have took me. Okay, but that's not a brag. That's not a boast. What it is talking about the importance of having a niche, guys. What does that do? Now it's going to maximize the amount of time that I get to list items today, right? And where's the money at in eBay? It's sure in the hell ain't in shopping. Yes, shopping is a portion of it, but because if you don't have anything to sell, well, you don't got anything to list. And if you don't got anything to list, well, you're not making any money, right? So that's the number one thing, knowing what you sell. I went right to my category, and I was blown away. And I texted my fiance, and I'm like, I'm blown away by how much money's in here. And I thought about it for a minute. I'm like, maybe it's just because I'm learning my niche more and more every single week, and I know exactly what to look for, right? I didn't know in the beginning, guys. I mean, we went in at 10 a.m. and come out at 8 p.m. Like, that's how we used to source. What can you get done? By the time you shop all that day, how many items are you going to get listed that day when you get home? None. You're not even going to want to list after shopping for 8 to 10 hours. Not at all. There's no way you're going to have it in you, right? You might, when you first get started, because you're excited to get home, list, but you get a couple years in and you go shopping for 8 hours and you come home, you ain't going to be listing all them items. There ain't no way. It's just not going to happen. So number 2 is, well, I actually correlated that right in. Your sourcing is faster when you have a niche. You know exactly. So, for example, you don't have to be clothes, guys. Whatever your niche is, right? There's a million different categories out there. If you sell vintage electronics and you walk in and guess what? That thrift store doesn't have any vintage electronics you're looking for. You're in and out. Your time there was slim to none. 5 minutes. You don't waste a bunch of time, right? Why? Because you knew exactly what you're going to looking for to see if they had it. Now, when I talk about exactly, there are sweaters that I grab now and jeans that I grabbed that I exactly wasn't looking for that style of sweater, but I know it sold for me in the past, right? So your sourcing will definitely be faster. And I'm looking down because I have some notes wrote this time, guys. You don't have to think about the way you're going to list the item when you're listing. For example, if you want to be efficient, right? Efficient reseller, which is listing a certain amount of items every single day and never missing that number. That's being efficient. And not only that, but picking something that you know eventually you'll know exactly how to list it and how long it's going to take you to list that item. How many of you guys can seriously write down on paper exactly how long it's going to take you to list your 20 items today, right? How many of you guys know exactly how long it takes you to list every single item? Now, if you're selling all over the place, you can't answer that question. Because some might take you 2 minutes. Some might take you 15 minutes because of all the research you got to do. The less research you got to do, the more efficient you're going to be to listing your items, right? So you don't have to think about the way you're even going to title it. Once you've been doing a niche long enough, you'll look at the sweater, you'll know it's chunky knit, you'll know by the feel of it and the texture of it that it's wool. I mean, you will know these things after you do something for a long time, and what that does is makes you a speedier lister, right? Which means you can get more items in your inventory, create a bigger store, which is in the long run going to create you more income, right? Okay, so moving on to number 4 is, I was just speaking about that too, is being more efficient. Okay, you guys, I have a system set up right now. I can't even show you. I lay all my clothes that I'm going to list for the day right there where them packaged ones are, right? It'll be a stack. It'll be a mound. I do all my photography, and every time I take a picture, a set of photos on the photography board, I move them over right back here onto my listing station. And I stack them, and then they're in perfect order when I go to list them and get them out of my phone, right? And it's a system. I grab one, I list it, I put it in a poly bag, it's got an inventory number on it, it's done. So by the time I'm done at night, my table looks like that, full of items, and they all have SKU numbers, and they're all going to go in a certain box. And when they sell, I go right to that box and I get them out. That's being efficient. There's not a bunch of hiccups. Oh, what do I do? What do I do next? How do I measure this next? That's what's going to come with selling all over the place. Guys, now I'm not knocking any. I know a lot of people that sell all over the place, and they're very successful. I'm just letting you know some benefits of picking a niche, right? There's also benefits of selling all over the place. You're not going to get bored with selling the same item because you're going to be selling all over the place. It's going to be interesting. You're going to be learning new items, so on and so forth. But if you want to be a master in anything, you cannot be a master in all over the place listing. You cannot be. There's no way. It takes to be able to become a master in one niche, it takes about 5 years. 5 to 10 years to become a master in your niche. So if you're selling 190 different style items, you don't got enough time in your lifetime to be a master at all of them. You know, I say this a lot, but Nike doesn't build houses. Even though they got the income and they could do it, they picked a niche, they stuck with it, and that's where they're at, right? Why? Because they got really good at what they do. You can't get really good at what you do if you're selling 500 different style items. You just can't do it, guys. I'm not saying you can't be successful and run a successful business, make 6 figures that way. I know plenty of people that are doing that. But if they'll never be a master at everything they're reselling. There might be a certain niche inside them, everything they're selling, right? And they get good at it. But you'll never be a master at everything. You can't be. Why do you think people in real estate are not mowing grasses, right? Like they're not pouring concrete, right? They're not shingling a roof. They're not working in an office. They are selling one thing, and they're some of the richest people in the world, right? They're not all over the place trying to sell clothes to, like, that's not, if you ever want to get really good at something, pick a niche and stick with it. Now, Daily Refinement, Chris from Daily Refinement was talking about that about a couple years ago when I was listening to his videos, and I'm like, yeah, whatever, dude, you don't know what you're talking about, right? He was only making 6 figures at that time, and I wanted to be arrogant. And I pushed his advice to the side and went my own way, right? And then I failed. I should have listened to him because a niche is very important. Chris knows what he's talking about, guys. So you should definitely hear him out once. Okay, number 5 is eBay knows the traffic to send you guys. If you have a certain niche, right? eBay knows that I sell clothes, without a doubt. They might not know me as a person, but they know my store sells clothes. And they're not going to sell a customer. They're not going to send a customer that is looking for a used tire for their motorcycle to my store. They know I don't sell them, right? They know it by the amount, by the niche that I'm selling in and the amount of them style items that I'm listing. Say, for example, today I started selling nothing but coffee mugs, no more clothes, right? Nothing but coffee mugs. It would take about 2 months before I picked up any really good, steady traffic. Why? Because I don't got coffee mugs in my, well, I might have a couple from my previous store, but I got 99.9% close in my store. eBay has got an algorithm, right? They know what traffic to send you. So if you're confusing them every single day with different items, you're not going to get as much traffic as you are the person that has a niche and is listing 100 sweaters a day. You're not going to get that much traffic, right? So if you start selling pens for your first 6 months and then you switch to coffee cups, you are confusing eBay. If you're confusing eBay, that's taking money from you, right? It's going to take eBay a while to realize, okay, he switched from pens to coffee cups. So now, when people are looking for coffee cups, we'll send them over there to Flip and Stoop, right? You guys don't want to confuse eBay. eBay's your buddy. You want to be buddies with that platform. And last but not least, having a niche, in my personal opinion, the biggest sellers on eBay. I'm talking about the companies that are bringing in, generating millions of dollars of income a year have a niche. Okay? There's very few of them selling all over the place. Very few. If you ever want, the more money you want to make if you have a niche, why do I say that? Because you can be more efficient. You know exactly how to list the item. If you can be more efficient, know exactly how to list the item, you know exactly about how much it's going to sell for and what price tag you're going to put on it. You don't have to think about how you're going to list it. What's going to happen? Over a 24-hour span, you're going to get more items listed than me if I'm selling all over the place. That's the bottom line. And the more items you have on eBay, the more you're going to sell. It's just the way it works. I hope this channel, I hope this video helped you guys out. If you like the content, guys, please subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out. It lets YouTube know as well that there are actually people interested in the channel and they're learning. Even if you drop a comment below, tell me your thoughts. I would greatly appreciate it. Do me a favor and smash the thumbs up button. And if you don't like the content, be honest as well. Hit the thumbs down. Look, if you guys can't be honest on my content, and let me know if you disagreed with something in the video, which is, guys, I'm human, right? I love a challenge of disagreement because then it lets me see a different viewpoint to the way my mind thinks. My mind thinks one way, yours thinks the other. I need your guys' feedback. Please tell me your feedback. That helps me grow, and then it helps build us a bond together, and we can grow together, right? So please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, guys, and I'll see you next time.